Do 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 do. Alright, so I'm going to start with this ceiling up here. Well, no, I'm going to go with the wall. Do 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 do. Alright, so this room's going to have a lot of this orange yellow in it because these gourds are all pretty much the same color. Alright, I'm going to mix a little bit of a darker version of the same color. Well, hello. I'm glad you caught me today, too. I'm going to be streaming more frequently for the next week and a half because this painting is going to be due very soon. I'm going to be delivering it in 2 weeks, so I am painting a big giant painting. Let me see, I don't know if my other camera is set up right. There we go, that should... Yeah. So I'm just adjusting this other camera so I can... There we go. So this is what I'm working on. It's a lot bigger than it looks like. So I'm going to be in a mad rush to get this done. It's quite the thing. So this is 12 feet long, or it's about 4 meters long. And it has different houses from different neighborhoods in St. Louis. And in the basement are small businesses that are run out of people's homes. So each home has a basement under it, and you can see people doing different things in those basements. And the one I'm doing right now is a woman that makes gourds. Hey, Michael. How have you been? Man, I haven't talked to you in a long time. Pretend I'm a co-worker. So I'm actually streaming to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So I can see everyone's comments from all the platforms, but you can't see each other's comments. So if I'm talking to someone and you're like, who's he talking to? That's because I'm in multiple locations. So what have you been up to, Mikey? Just work and spending time with the family. That's that's life. I feel like it's finally getting to where those are starting to be separate things again. For a long time, like this last year, it's like working from home, but then also having your family all at home. is very different. My family is good. My wife is actually upstairs. She is currently teaching a class. She teaches middle school English. And so she is in the middle of class right now, while I'm in the basement painting. And we're excited. We're both getting vaccinated today. So I have an appointment this afternoon and she has an appointment this evening. It just happened to work out that way. So, like, going and spending time with people might be in our future. Uh, Finley's back in school in person. My wife teaches in person a couple days a week, and then online. I think she's in person 3 days, online 2 days, or in person 2 days. I don't remember. I probably should know, but cool. I don't know which one I'm getting. I don't care. I'm just happy to get it. Because we did make plans, we're going to Oregon this summer. We're going to be there in June, I think. I feel like things rolled out on the West Coast a little faster than they did here in Missouri. So Mikey that's talking to me on Facebook, he was my best friend growing up. He lived down the street. Yeah, that would be really cool. I think we're going to be there in June is the plan. Um, yeah, it would be awesome to hang out. Sometimes when I go to Oregon, it's like I only see my family a couple times a year. It's been less lately, and so I go to Oregon maybe once a year, twice maybe, usually around Thanksgiving, and but usually I just like I don't know, seeing people makes me nervous. It seems like there's something weird about being back in St. Helens. Like going to Walmart, you run into people that you haven't thought about in years. And I don't know. There's something strange about it. I don't know if other people feel that way or not, but my hometown makes me nervous. I think some of that comes from like when you're in high school, you're a very different person than than your grown-up self. And I feel like sometimes I feel weird about seeing people that knew me in high school because I don't know. It seems weird. But I would be hanging out with you sounds fun. I would love to meet your family. I actually thought about you just the other day. We were hanging out, and I was like, I wonder what Mikey's up to. So I looked you up on Facebook, and so Kirsten and I looked at some of your pictures, and your family is adorable, of course. You guys look really happy, which is great. I feel like it's really easy to get really negative about like everything being shut down and how it is, how the world is right now. But one thing that I've really enjoyed is I feel like I have had a lot of really good time with my family the last couple years. That like, because Finley's 4 and such a great age, he has so much energy, and like for him having a year that we all just stay home and hang out with him is like it's every kid's dream. Oh, your Uncle Don. I remember Uncle Don. I remember he had like a big giant wall of movies. He had so many movies. Man, that's somebody I haven't thought about in at least a decade. Beaverton does seem like a more happening place. There's more going on. Especially with it being a college town. College towns always have a very unique kind of atmosphere. There tends to be a certain amount of life. And then summer comes and it's like a ghost town. So how did you end up in Beaverton? Is that where your wife's from? Hmm. So I'm trying to remember. I remember you going. I'm trying to remember where you went on your mission. So I feel like you were a little bit like me in that you went on your mission, got out for a while, and just saw that, like, oh, there's this whole big world out there, and so I was actually thinking, since Finley's gonna be 5 next month. He's getting old, and I was thinking about the hill at the end of our street that we grew up on, and how much fun it was to play on that hill because it was so fort-like. And I was thinking he might be old enough to, like, go on the little trails and play on the hill. So I imagine those trails will seem much smaller now. I wonder if my parents still have laser tag. Because that sounds fun. Yeah, it had like the little rocks that made like a little fort thing. It was a really cool place. Like I have really great memories of that. That I imagine it being like a fort, but I know it's just like some rocks on a hill. But I feel like I could tell him that it's like that there's pirates and we can go up there and go on an adventure. I think that sounds fun. So that's something he doesn't get much of here. Like we just like we're out playing on the street every day. And that's something that he probably won't have quite as much here in St. Louis. Since we live in the city, like he can't just play in the street. Yeah, it was a cool rock structure. I think I went to it once when I was visiting, and I remember it being much, much smaller than I remembered. So I'm like, oh, this is it. It's so tiny. It does seem like there's just something about being a kid and just going into like any kind of formation or natural phenomenon. It's like caves. It reminds me of Mark Twain a little bit, how they were always outside and their adventures were always much larger than what they're actually doing. See, my in-laws live about an hour from me here, where we live, but they live out in the country and their house um, is about a 2-minute walk to a lake with a little beach. So it's nice that like over the summer, almost every weekend we go out there because we get to go swim and be outside and be in nature. Because sometimes being in the city, it can wear you out. It can be stressful and not having enough trees around, and you just gotta get outside. And I feel like kids definitely need to be outside. Well, hello. It's coming along nicely. I'm painting. This is actually one of my neighbors that she grows gourds and makes them into gourd art, which is really cool. I love gourd art. I actually have one of her pieces right here. That So she takes the gourds and she cuts them out and paints them and puts designs in with a wood burner. So they're pretty cool. Yeah. So, and then on the house here, I'm going to have up there she has a trellis thing that she grows her gourds on. I'm going to just let you see how this is coming along. I'm really close. This is the last basement that I'm working on now. So this is number 7 of 7, and then I'll be done with the basements. Yeah, so I have to get this done this week. I'm hoping to get the whole painting done this weekend. Can you get a quick tour of the painting or the studio? Let me all right. Yeah, let me grab this little camera. My studio is always a bit of a mess by the time I'm finishing a project. Alright, so I think you've seen the houses for the most part. I'm going to start down here at the end. So this one is a recording studio. And that's actually a local musician. His name is Justin Ra. Plays the drum. He plays the didgeridoo. He's a really cool guy. And then this one is my studio. I still need to go in and paint all these basements once I'm done. Once I finish the whole painting, I'll come back to that. This is that first basement that I painted. And then this one I did last week. This is actually my next door neighbor. She does hair in her basement. She has a little salon. And then this is a tax accountant. I kind of have him here to represent all kinds of digital at-home office jobs that people do, freelance work. He was watching a hockey game, but I have Photoshop open there, and then also like not TurboTax, but tax software. And he has a wine cellar down here. I just painted that last night. It's okay, but I figure the person in the big house here needs to have some kind of cushier job with the wine cellar. And then this is another neighbor that she makes children's clothes by hand. So she's there sewing. That's her daughter. I need to work on her daughter's face in there, but doesn't look the best. I'll come back to that. And then this is the one I'm working on right now. She's there, wood burning on a gourd. And then on this house on the left side here, this is where the gourd trellis is going to be. So, yeah. So once I get this one done, I'll go ahead and paint all of the black in between them and start putting in some pipes and sewer and that kind of stuff. And this is my wife and son back here. They're really little. They're flying kites. But I want to come back in and put some like people in the windows, things like that. So it has a little ways to go, but I am delivering it in 2 weeks. So I need to get it done. Which if I'm delivering it in 2 weeks, that means I really need to get it done in 1 week. I did include my family, but I didn't put them behind my house. I put them behind a different house, which is weird. Now that I think about it, it's kind of weird. I can't see anything behind my house. But yeah, my wife is going to go down to Arkansas this weekend. She's going on Saturday. So I have the house to myself for the weekend. So I'm just gonna paint the whole weekend. That's my plan. So my hope is to get this all done this weekend. I know that's somewhat ambitious, but it's kind of what I'd have to do, so. It is. I was up painting last night till 3 a.m. And I won't do that again tonight. I can only do that one. I can really only handle one all-nighter a week before I just get too tired to function. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense to pull an all-nighter if the next day you're too tired to paint. Well, it does make some sense. Sometimes there's fewer interruptions, and I don't tend to take as many breaks at night. Do I have commissions lined up? I have a couple, actually. But they're so much smaller that it will be like a break. I do have a couple lined up. But it's hard to know if they'll pan out or not, because I've kind of just told everyone I'm not available for commissions right now. I'll contact you when I have time again. So nothing set in stone. But I'd like to get my jeweler's bench up and running. I bought a whole jewelry studio a few months ago. It was my Christmas present to myself, I think. And it's actually what I did with my first half of the money for this painting, was buy a jewelry studio. Because it was a good deal. And so I'd like to use it. So I'll probably be getting my jewelry studio set up. Because once it's set up, that's something I tend to like to, in my personal work, like sometimes sitting here, like my neck starts to hurt, I start to get tired, whatever. But I've found that if I have metals to work on, metalsmithing is so like physical, it's really hands-on, that it gets me up out of my chair, hammering and stretching and soldering. It's so different that I can take a break from this and do that, go back and forth. I also plan to start exploring some more digital art. I've started making jewelry in undergrad, but I haven't made jewelry in years because I didn't have a bench. I didn't have torches or anything like that. So now I have torches. I have two two crankshafts. Is that what they're called? Rotary shafts. It's kind of like a Dremel, but super powerful. I have the whole bench set up. I have a couple things that I need for it, but like I always intended to have a jeweler's bench down here. In fact, when I built my studio, there's a spot that I put a ceiling fan in for ventilation over what would be a jeweler's bench. And when I built my shelving, I left that spot open for a jeweler's bench. So, like, it's always been my plan to have one there eventually, but now it's actually going to happen. And I actually have quite a bit of silver. I have some silver bullion that needs to be hammered out, which is going to be a pain, but it's fun. Yeah, you won't see any jewelry on my Instagram, no. Because I haven't made it in years. That's why I'm excited to jump back into it. I need something to... Let me see if I have any on my computer. All right, let me see. I need to learn how to use my my Streamlabs remote from my phone, so I can. Oops. Oh, cool. I can't do it from here. All right. All right, so I can show you. I only have a couple of things that. I've made a lot of jewelry. I just don't have photographs of most of it. This one's actually made with a piece of redwood tree from California. And those are the only two things I have photographs of. I think I do have one more. Let me see. Oh, this was some metal smithing I did a while back. It's like a reliquary. So I'm not great, but I'm okay. So yeah, I'd really like to get back into it. And I tend to be like in everything I do, I tend to be very, very, I don't know if traditional is the word because it's not about tradition, but I tend to be very I guess traditional is a fine word. I have made my wife some pieces. That last ring she still wears sometimes. That's right. And I'd like to, and there's ways you can incorporate both. I'd like to do some like um I'd love to start doing some miniatures, like little miniature paintings and like fabricate tiny frames that you can wear on a necklace. I love things like that. That sounds really fun to me. Um, there's a lot you can do with it. But I do like fabrication more than casting. I'm not a big fan of casting. I'd rather because I don't know, casting seems I don't know. It's not my style. Part of the reason I like it is because it's so physical, because it does get me off my feet. But casting, I don't know. There's not as much hammering and grinding and sanding and all of that, so I don't like it as much. You know what they say, you can never have too many hobbies as a career. Right, they can, yeah. But I feel like doing tiny portraits, they're almost like cameos. Like cameo rings are really cool, but I could do really tiny portraits. I think would be neat. Because what I could do is make the pendants without the image in them, and then make the painted part custom. It's almost like picking out a frame and then deciding what picture you want to put in it. All right, Mikey, have a great day. It was great catching up, and I'll definitely let you know when I'm going to be out in Oregon. It'd be really fun to hang out. If you consider your career a hobby, then you're doing what you love. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is that you're not making enough money to justify paying taxes. No, that's not good. You should always pay your taxes. right. That looks okay. Unfortunately, her shelves are wood, and then her gourds are that same color as the shelves, which makes it all kind of a wood color. So I went and photographed her working this last weekend, and we were both wearing masks. So in my reference photo, she's wearing a mask, and none of the others are wearing masks. But I think I'm gonna leave it because I kind of like that it's like a, I don't know, it's interesting. I like that she's wearing a mask. Oh, this down here should be wood too, shouldn't it? You know what I might do? So there's this really loud fabric in the basement that has the woman making children's clothes. It's a really bright fabric with stripes on it. I might make her mask out of that fabric so that you kind of get the idea that the woman in this house, her mask was made by the woman in the other house. That was, because I mean she sews and makes clothes for a living. I can guarantee she's been making masks. Could be for dust. Yeah. And it wouldn't stand out a ton. Um, and it is kind of like it's like this painting's going to be up for a very long time. And people will always look at it and think of, oh, the lovely times we've had. It does root it in this into a time frame, which is cool. Although I'm not sure everyone wants to be reminded of the pandemic. Let's see. You're not my first subscriber. Hambina was my first subscriber, and then he bought like subscriptions for other people. Hambino was like the one of the first people to watch my stream. Oh, could be. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you for subscribing because I had the wrong window open so it didn't tell me. It's weird that it didn't tell me. founder badges. That sounds cool. Another thing I think I might do after I finish this painting is getting my streaming system more figured out. Figuring out how, like, well, one thing, I won't be doing anything this big for a while. Normally, I paint over there. I have a spot for painting with an easel, and being able to keep my cameras set up in one location would be great. But it's like, for this, every time I'm moving to a different section, I have to move all my cameras, I have to move my laptop. So I'm excited to have, like, oh, I can just be working on multiple paintings and just, like, take this painting down and put a different one up, and then good to go. I am kind of like a secret on Twitch. I don't know how to raid, and usually by the time I'm done streaming, there's like maybe 2 people. And I feel like you have to raid, it makes more sense if you have, like, I don't know, I feel like I do need to figure it out. I really don't know. I'm not very into the Twitch world yet. And some of that is just like, there's a lot to play around with, a lot to learn. And right now, I just work on this every day. I have no time. It will be weird going from, like, oh, I have no time to do anything ever, to, like, oh, what am I gonna do today? I don't mind being a secret. As strange as it is, I don't actually... It's nice having someone watching. But I didn't really start streaming for any kind of reason, for building a following or anything like that. It's mostly just because, I don't know, because I can. Well, hello, Estrine Studio Productions. That sounds super professional. That's a very professional sounding name. So if you're just coming in, what you can see here is fairly small. A lot of people say that. I figure I'll keep streaming, I'll keep doing it, and just... I actually got Streamlabs Prime or whatever it is, so I can stream to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. And part of my reason for that is I realized that Twitch videos get don't aren't permanent. They don't stay forever. And when I stream with my son, I'd really like to keep those videos. So having them go straight to YouTube is really nice. I don't know. I mostly do it for something to do to distract myself. I used to watch the news, but I just got really tired of it. All right, so Astrine, is that, am I pronouncing that right? Astrine Studio Productions. I'll just call you like ESP. ESP, what is that? ESP, that stands for something. Anyway, what I'm painting here is one small scene that's in a much, much, much larger painting. So this is the whole painting. So the part that I'm working on is just this part right here. ESPN Sports. Extrasensory perception, that's what ESP is. So people that like see spirits and stuff. So yeah, this is what I'm working on. It's real big and I'm almost done. I say that, but you always feel like you're almost done, and then when it comes time to actually finish, you find all these things that you need to do. That's why my goal is to get it finished this weekend so that it'll actually be finished next week. Is that weird to plan in that it's going to take longer than I think it will? That should always be planned in, I guess. The problem is that the amount that I charged is based on how much time I predicted that it would take. So when it takes longer than that, then I don't get paid as much per hour. I'm not sure ESP is still with us. So I'm hoping, I applied for a job a couple weeks ago, There's a university down the street. I say down the street, it's like 20 minutes away, that's hiring a full-time painting professor. And they always take forever to do those staffing positions. But man, it would be nice. I mean, I like my job at the college I'm at. But being a full-time professor would also be very nice. Because I just started my new... I'm an adjunct, so I'm hired per class. But I've been an adjunct there for like 5 years. But for professor positions, 15 hours or more generally is a full-time class load. And this position is 3 classes per term, which is 15 hours a week. No, that's not right. Yeah, 15 hours a week, which is full-time. Because it's 15 class hours. But where I am right now, this term, I'm teaching 16 hours. Well, thanks. It's hard not to get too. It's not to get like eager. It's like it's not excited because I know those positions are very competitive, but it's hard not to be hopeful. I'll get something eventually. It's just that art art professors is such a great job. The art professors never retire. They they keep teaching until they're like 90. All right. It's all right. All right. Sounds good. I might take a break uh, here. Actually, I'm at a good spot to take a break right now. See if my wife wants to play a game of chess before I go get my vaccine. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take a break too, because I'm hungry. Oh, hi. You're back. Yeah, I'm getting the vaccine this afternoon in a couple hours, so. Well, I was actually just about to take a break, but I can show you since you're back. I think you missed what this painting is. So I'm painting this little section here, but the painting is a lot bigger. So this is the full painting. I got liquid on my arm. And I've been working on this thing for months now. I don't know how many months. And I'm almost done. So this is my last section before I kind of tackle the whole thing and try to make everything fit. So, yeah. All right. Well. Oh God. Yeah, I need a break. I stayed up really late painting last night, so I'm a little bit sleepy today. So, gotta get some caffeine and eat something. All right. It's always how it tends to go. People start to come into the stream when you're about to leave. All right, but I am going to take a break. So, thanks for hanging out. Have a good afternoon.